the idea is to rate yourself from 1 to 10. 1 is low. That's as low as you can get. 10 is perfect. Nobody gets a 10. You have to leave some room for improvement. And try not to highball yourself too much when you do these things. When I got back in the card business, my first thought when I was doing these, in fact, I did the same thing you may want to do. I made a copy of this page, and I went through the first copy, and I highballed myself and got it out of my system. I just gave myself a 10 on everything. Closing, yeah, 10, why not? Presentations, yeah, I give a good presentation. Give me a 10. Well, then I looked at my closing ratio. If you're closing 20% of the people, you can't get a 10 as a closer. The most you can get is a 2. If you're only given that great presentation that you have to 3 or 4 out of 10 people, you can't get a 10. I don't care how good it is. The most you can get is a 3 or a 4. You have to leave some room for improvement. A couple of other things, and it's real important to give yourself accurate ratings. Let's take a look at your closing ratio for a second. Let's say that you have a 20% closing ratio. You talk to 50 people a month. How many cars do you sell if you have a 20% closing ratio and make 50 contacts? 10. Let's look at what happens with a minor improvement in your closing ratio. If you really admitted, well, I'm a 2 on closing instead of an 8 or a 9, and you worked hard and you improved your closing ratio from a 2 to a 3, from 20% to 30%. If you talk to the same number of people, you still talk to those 50 people, how many cars do you sell now? No, not 12, 15. You get a 50% improvement for a 10% increase in your skill level. And that would be true on most of your skill levels. These have a ripple effect. As you make a minor improvement, it has a ripple effect in your paycheck. That's why in the beginning of the tape, we talked about doubling your income, and a lot of people may think that's a high ball. It really isn't. I can show you in goal setting on the next couple of tapes how to take where you are and figure out where you'd like to be and literally double your income. Now, at the bottom of page 8, page 9, it says write in your 3 weakest areas. You want to constantly review your skills, and you want to do it as soon as this class is over, all 8 tapes, not this afternoon. Let's get a little more information before you rate yourself. And then you want to do it again about every 90 days. You want to find your weakest areas, work on those. Now, I can tell you now some of the weakest areas you have in sales are some of the most important skills. Closing. We're closing 20%. If we close 20%, what percent get off the lot without buying? 80%. Now, that might sound okay if most of the people weren't really buyers, but we're going to talk about some statistics after a while that'll kind of knock your socks off. Most of the people that walk on the lot are going to buy a car, and most are going to do it in a very short time. We're getting a very small percentage of the sales that we could have. So we have to practice, drill, and rehearse and develop our skills.